Good morning all. So we start the Euro USD, as you can see it's pumping and they've sold it. So we can create a box down here as a support because that's where they sold it. I think potentially they might have shorted it because they're looking at risk appetite and see how it was puking. They probably thought, oh, Euro USD is going to be a good sell, and they did it as a herd. That could be a theory, that might be true. Or they just sold it and they won't look at their indices. They should be looking at risk appetite as traders, but I'm not sure what the hive mind are doing right now. They might just be purely focusing on the Euro USD, and why they sold there, I'm not really sure. It's not like we had a decent technical break. You know, here would have been better to sell it. They sold it here, so they could be looking at their indices and looking at risk appetite, and that's why they sold it. But we are pumping. We're actually creating a Harami candle, which is quite bullish because there's no wick below and there's hardly any wick below, above, so quite strong. So you want to be careful there, and potentially they're looking at indices. I'm not really 100% sure, but we are falling a little bit on risk appetite. Note that they're short nearly everything, but they're long dollar CAD, dollar Swiss, dollar yen, and oil. And so this is fallen, which is okay because, you know, we made a sell, so we can create a box here. So I'll be surprised to see price above 4057. All right, area. We might do, but I'll be surprised because that's where they've gone long. Okay, so those guys need to get punished, even a little bit. And that's that. So I'll try and make this a quick one. A little bit of a wick forming on the US 30. They've gone long, so the wick is a little bit naughty, but we're still negative on the hour. Quite decisively bearish. And if they go long, that's just going to, you know, make it fall even more. If they go long, then we'll fall. But if they sell it, you know, we'll have supports, multiple supports. And DAX is absolutely horrendous. And this tells me that to get out and not to come back. So if you were thinking about trading DAX, this tells me get out. It's no good. It's just fake. And admittedly, they sold it here, so we could probably come back in here, but this is probably, you know, it's corresponding to the US indices, but this whole wick here is just naughty and horrendous. In fact, it's actually quite horrible to trade. Look at these big wicks. There's a huge, just going to make a crazy doji there. So that tells me to get out. I wouldn't trade this at all. I wouldn't trade this if you paid me, I think. Just horrible. Just nasty, really. Gold. Now, this is going as forecast because what happened is that the bears were undergoing a lot of drawdown, and now the bulls are going to be punished, and their break even was at 1922. We are on it now, so we're just teasing the bulls break even. We should go below, and then both the bulls and the bears will get punished, and this is going exactly as forecast, and it's just basically a trap for bulls and a trap for bears. And we should see price in between those two values of their break even. So we should see price below here, 1922, and especially now we've created a zone above at 1931 resistance. It could potentially go higher, but we created a decent wide zone there. Euro USD is going to impact things, and that would have been a stop hunt as well. We'll look at the stop SLCs in our Patreon video, but that could have been one. Maybe that's what it might want to do, is just trigger loads of stops, potentially. So be really careful, especially if you're trading DAX. It looks horrendous. That can fall. US 30 should fall. Avoid like the plague because it looks horrendous and horrible. And gold should fall. Euro could have been a stop hunt, but they have sold it, so that's the logic there. So we can maybe come up higher, and that's that. So Patreon video now, and remember to just trade carefully as well.